All right, welcome to Speak Shoot Sports. This is Bert. Today I'm joined once again by Tae. And today we'll be going over a preview of week 5. We're going to look forward to some of the games that we think are going to be really good. We're going to let you guys know what games to watch and also a sleeper game to keep your eye on. So, Tae, why don't you go and kick it off? What's your first game to watch this week?
My first game to watch will be Browns versus Chargers. These are both two teams who are off to great starts early on in the season. Both defenses have looked amazing so far this season. And on top of that, both offenses have done pretty well too. So I think these are both two well-rounded teams that are going to battle for just positioning in the AFC. It's a little early for that, but I think that, these two teams are going to give you a look at, what good competition in the AFC could look like later on this season in the playoffs. Justin Herbert has been playing out of his mind with this new offense they have going on with the new offensive coordinator who came from the Saints. He's making him kind of look like a mini Drew Brees, got just these quick reads, just quick snaps and these quick throws. But then he's going against a really good pass rush. Myles Garrett just looked unstoppable. I think he made a joke early in the week. He said, "I wore sleeves. I went sleeveless one week, and I think they drug tested him after the game. So he was just like, I'm never going sleeveless again." But
speaking of Myles Garrett, we just ran out of time. We didn't get to do a before the season predictions. He was my DPOY. He's really, that one game against the Bears, it inflated his stats like crazy, but still he's been playing really, really well.
He's been playing out of his mind. He's been having a great season so far. I think one thing that I've noticed about Myles Garrett is how much quicker he is off the ball this season.
Yeah.
He's like flying off the ball like way more than he usually did. You can tell he put in a lot of work in the offseason. But this is one thing. He's going against a quarterback who likes to get the ball out of his hands like in literally like almost 0.2 seconds.
Yeah.
He makes one read and he's gone. One thing I have to give big props to with Justin Herbert is that he's really deceptive. And he knows how to look off the secondary a lot. And that's a big trait to have for a quarterback. And at that, for a second-year quarterback to have that already, I would say NFL watch out because he's only going to get better. His arm is already there. His accuracy is amazing. The more smarter he gets, the more trouble everybody's going to be in the NFL, not even just AFC. It's more so just everybody in general. Who do I got for this game? I'm going to have to go Browns because I got to see the Chargers lose because I need my boys to retain that number one seed back in that division. But I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Herbert and the Chargers get the job done.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one. For one, because I don't want the Browns to do good. I'm ready. But also just because I really think they can. The Browns have been kind of inconsistent this season at points where there have been some games where they look really, really good. But also there have been points in games where they aren't scoring like you think they would, or they aren't defending as good as you think they should, or they just blow a lead or two. Just little things like that. They should have won that Chiefs game, let's be honest, but they barely scored against Minnesota, who up until that point had been one of the worst defenses in the league. I don't know if that's a testament to them stepping up or if the Browns offense just put up a dud that week. But I'm a little bit concerned for this Browns team's consistency. And if there's one thing about the Chargers, it's that they're consistent for the most part.
Yeah, 1,000%.
They do tend to, have their off quarters, or sometimes they can't close out games as well as they should be. But I think after that Chiefs win, where they just barely squeaked it out, I think they got a lot of confidence, and I think they are gunning for the top of that division. And I feel bad for the Browns because they're in the way right now, right?
Yeah.
Of this giant freight train.
Yeah, one person I forgot to mention is Austin Eckler. He's been playing out of his mind so far this season. I know he's been hurt. He's been kind of going back and forth between this medical tent thing and it's, scaring a lot of people. But when he's on the field, I mean, it seems like it's impossible to take this guy down. I know he's already low to the ground, but man, when he's going head up with a lot of these linebackers and a lot of these safeties, he's kind of just bouncing off these guys. I mean, the guy is so strong. Just he's killing the NFL right now. He killed my boys last week, so I got to give him props.
His balance is tremendous. I mean, he's not even like the biggest guy, but he has a really good core, and he runs low. It's hard to tackle him and keep him down. And also, speaking on Nick Chubb, I expect Nick Chubb to have a good game. I expect, but I'm not sure what to expect from this offense, throwing wise, passing wise. I don't know how much Odell's going to contribute this game. He's still a little bit rusty.
Yeah,
that's to be expected. He's coming off a big injury, but I'm not exactly sure who's going to step up outside of Odell for the Browns to be able to effectively pass in this game and effectively kind of try and take the win. That's why I got the Chargers winning this game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that 1,000%.
You want to jump to my first team?
Yeah, what's your first game, bro? What you got going on this week?
I gotta go Ravens Colts. This is
as expected.
Yep. This is gonna be Ravens primetime games in this season. Every single Ravens primetime game has been a very good game. It's been close. It's been fun to watch. And we've only had one non-primetime game. So yeah, this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be closer than people expect. The Colts defense hasn't been playing to expectations. The Colts offense hasn't been playing to expectations. The Colts offensive line has not been playing to expectations.
Yeah.
This is the the biggest bust of a team we've seen so far. I think it's too early to really call them a bust. I think it's too early, but they've been the most disappointing team, and they are hungry for a win because they are 1-3 at the bottom of their division. Basically, they're second to last, and they're in the worst division in the NFL, which I covered in the video with Dorji earlier. And they are desperate for a win. Meanwhile, the Ravens are struggling to keep up in a very, very close
division.
A very, very close division. Nobody expected the Bengals to be 3-1, but they are, and so now the Ravens really have to step up even further. They've been passing a lot more this season, and it's actually been really, really good for their offense. It's been opening up their run game more, actually.
Yeah.
My only issue is that they are not using Tyson Williams. It is very disappointing. He's their best runner. He's their most explosive guy. He's their quickest guy. And look, I like Le'Veon Bell as much as the next guy, but he looked really bad last week. Let's be honest. I don't see why Tyson should be a healthy scratch at all. He should be getting snaps over either Le'Veon or Devonta Freeman. Latavius Murray's been pretty 1,000%. Good. Latavius Murray's been pretty good, but
of course.
Tyson is that guy that could explode at any moment.
Yeah.
And give you a 30-yard rush. And if they're not using him, I'm a little concerned. But if Rashad Bateman comes back this week, I'm gonna be a little bit less concerned because he's gonna be good. I'm not sure if he's gonna be good right off the bat, but he is going to be good, and I think he's gonna end up being either the wide receiver 2 or maybe even the wide receiver 1 for this team eventually.
Yeah, easily.
If he gets a chemistry.
I would say who you got winning, but we already know Bert's got his Ravens winning. It's a no-brainer. If I had to pick,
I'm scared of that pick, man. I feel like there's an upset coming just because of how hungry the Colts must be.
Yeah. I'm still rock with you guys this week. I'm gonna go with the Ravens this week. I would just say because you guys actually have a decent pass rush enough to obliterate this horrible offensive line that the Colts have.
Odafe Owe was going insane, and Tyus Bowser in the last game against the Broncos. I mean, that's a decent offensive line. So that was a pretty good offensive line.
Yeah, I just there's a lot of downfalls with this Colts team, and it's just after that week 1, the Ravens have only gotten better every game, and I think a big thing is that the defense has gotten better every game ever since week 1. Lamar is he's being Lamar. There's nothing else you can really say about that. Marquise Brown, he made up for a lot of those drop passes, 2 weeks ago and the game this past weekend. But I really just see you guys kind of rolling over this Colts team. Once you guys get a little bit of pressure on Carson Wentz, he's going to fold. He's going to start making a lot of dumb reads. He's going to start throwing a lot of dumb interceptions. And that's unfortunately that's just who Carson Wentz is now. Carson Wentz is the guy that everybody thought was going to be so good, but you get him hit a couple times, and he just folds, and he throws interceptions, and he makes dumb reads, and he just doesn't make the best decisions when he feel like he's under pressure.
Yeah, our defense has definitely been getting better, and it's going to be relying a lot on, I hope the Colts offensive line doesn't get it together this week, because they very well could. They could get it together at any moment. Nobody expected them. Nobody expected them to be this bad. So if they just play up to somewhat of their expectations, I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. And I just hope the Ravens don't let their foot off the gas and they just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We both got the Ravens winning that one. Let's go to what's your second must-watch game?
My second must-watch game is Chiefs versus the Bills. The Bills are the hottest team in the NFL besides the Arizona Cardinals right now. I believe if we can go and look at their past 3 games. I think all of their past 3 games have been blowouts.
In the last 3 weeks, they have outscored their opponents 118-21, and all 21 of those points came from the Washington football team. That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, week 2 they won 35-0 against the Dolphins. Week 3 they go and drop 43 against Washington, who everybody thought was going to be a top defense, which let's say that defense has been looking pretty bad. But and then we go week 4, they shut out the Texans 40-0. Listen, the Diggs and Allen connection is back, and it's scary.
Yes.
When these two are on point and when these two are clicking, and just Josh Allen can just kick it off to Diggs whenever he wants to, and Diggs will make an amazing play. They are probably the scariest offense in the NFL. The defense has been doing really well too. Zach Moss has been performing really well. Devin Singletary's been doing pretty well. Surprisingly, this unorthodox receiving core they have in Buffalo has been pretty good. You got Diggs, Beasley, Sanders, Gabriel Davis is there. Every now and then they throw in Isaiah McKenzie. But, this is kind of like, you hear a lot of these names, you're like, this is an average receiving core with Stephon Diggs. But surprisingly, everybody's been performing pretty well on top of Stephon Diggs being who he is. I'm going to have to take them over the Chiefs just because they have that momentum coming into this week. And the Chiefs are kind of just slowly getting by. They're just slowly pacing their way to wins and not really doing much and not really pulling away in a lot of these games they need to be pulling away with. Like last week, the fact that they were even, only up a touchdown at the end of the game against the Eagles. The Eagles? You guys couldn't blow out the Eagles? I'm losing faith, but it's not the offense. It's this defense. Their defensive schemes just haven't been up to par as they were back when they had won the Super Bowl. It's just not really, their defense is not giving me what they usually do. It's just not living up to their usual potential, and it's really sad.
Yeah, this Chiefs team has been honestly also a massive disappointment. I mean, I think their defense is just so bad that, and we talked about this before in a previous video on the channel. Go check that out if you want to.
Yeah.
The Chiefs just can't stay focused for a full game. They have issues staying focused for a full game. They'll go hard for a half or a quarter, but it feels like they rest on their laurels too much. They kind of kick back even when they're up or even when they're down. Sometimes they still kind of kick back. My biggest issue with the Chiefs, the Bills, is that the Chiefs' biggest weakness is their defense, and the Bills' biggest strength is their offense. And I think this could get really messy really quick. It's probably going to be a shootout, but I think the Bills could go up really big early.
Yes,
the Chiefs
absolutely.
They're going to have to claw their way back because, like you said, with their receiving core, the Diggs-Allen connection, everyone's so scared of that. It opens up everybody else on that receiving team. And with a defense like this, who's weak against not only the pass. They're also really weak against the run. They have not been able to stop anybody from running all over them. And Zach Moss has been very, very solid. And Singletary,
Yes.
he's been okay. I think he's been pretty all right. But I expect Zach Moss to have a big game. I expect Stephon Diggs to do pretty well.
Blow up this week. Absolutely.
I expect Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley also have really good games. I think this is going to be, and they even have a great red zone target in Dawson Knox, who's kind of been flying under the radar from Buffalo. Meanwhile, on the Chiefs side, they did just sign Josh Gordon. I don't think it's going to make much of an impact right away.
Yeah, I would say give that like about a week or two before we really kind of see how big of a role he's going to have on his offense.
Yeah.
But Tyreek Hill's coming off a big performance. Everybody knows Tyreek Hill had 3 touchdowns last week. He lit up the Eagles. But even with Tyreek Hill having 3 touchdowns, they only won by 7.
Yeah.
And that's what really scares me. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if Andy Reid's kind of just telling his guys, this is a long run. Let's not try to push the gas too early. But they need to start pushing the gas. They need to start, addressing the issue that they're having a lot of these close games with a lot of teams that they should be blowing out.
Yeah. And they've got 2 teams above them that are 3-1. And there's another team that's 2-2, right?
Yeah. No, actually,
or is everyone 3-1 above them?
Yes, everyone's 3-1, and they're the only 2-2 team. So
that's
my boys were 3-1. The Chargers are 3-1, and the Broncos are 3-1. This is arguably the best division in the NFL right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And was anybody expecting this? Absolutely not. And was anybody expecting the Chiefs to be last? Absolutely not. But things happen. NFL is very unpredictable. And, it's full of surprises, and that's why I love the game. But if I had to pick a winner for this game this week, I'm riding with the Bills. I think the Chiefs are kind of just at a point where it's just like a lot of teams are figuring them out, and teams are only getting better. And I said this in the previous video that we made about them. They got to pick it up because these teams are not going to get worse. They're only going to get better. And when these teams start getting better and you guys are kind of just staying stagnant, you guys are going to start getting trampled over. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, the Bills defense is nothing to sleep on either. I mean, they had 2 shutouts. I know it was against the Texans and it was against the Miami Dolphins without Tua. But let's be honest, those are still NFL teams, NFL caliber teams. And if they can shut those guys out, I think they have a pretty good shot at doing some damage against this Chiefs offense. Tre'Davious White, Tremaine Edmonds, I mean, they got pieces there. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on them. I'm picking Buffalo in that game.
All right. Well, Bert, what's your second must-watch game of the week?
It is the Cincinnati Bengals against the Green Bay Packers.
Who would have thought that Bert would pick Cincinnati to be a game of the week?
This is one of those. If you had said this like week 1 of the season, like before any games, I would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, get out of here. Like, there's no way.
No way that this game is going to be competitive.
But the Bengals have been good. And the Packers have been really bad in defense. And the Bengals have been really good on offense.
Good offense.
This is like a dollar store version of the Bills-Chiefs game. Like, this is going to be a shootout.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a shootout. And look, Joe Mixon might miss the game. But Samaje Perine's not so bad. And Green Bay's run defense is so bad that they could probably make Samaje Perine look like Derrick Henry, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and their secondary is also bad. And the Bengals have 3 really good weapons. They have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. This is assuming T. Higgins plays. I think he's on pace to play.
Yeah, but I believe he is, yeah.
Yeah, and then, this is going to be a very, very I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. Because also we know who the Packers have,
Yes, everybody knows who the Packers are. Yeah,
they're gonna come out and they're going to put up a lot of points, but the Bengals are going to be right there with them, I think, in my opinion. And this could end up going down to the final quarter with a few drives. Who really wants to win the game more? I think it could really come down to that. And if I had an upset alert, this, I'd put the Bengals on upset alert against the Packers.
Yeah. This Bengals team is really surprising me. And a big thing is that Joe Burrow has taken a big leap from year one to year two. So when you have a young quarterback, that's just, he has already, he gave him some production last year, but when he's taking a massive leap from last year and he's just making everything click and he's just making everybody around him so much better, it's kind of hard to beat this team. And a surprising thing about this Bengals team is the defense. This defense is surprisingly, I wouldn't say really good, but it is good enough to get the job done for them to win some of these games. And it starts with their front four. Their front four is way better than anybody would have expected. Their secondary isn't the best, but when you have a good front four like that, it only makes the secondary's job easier.
Yeah.
We all know who the Packers have.
They have a really weak O-line right now.
Yeah, and at that, the Packers secondary is just not the best.
Yeah.
I know they have Darnell, you got Jaire Alexander, but there's just so many weapons with this Bengals offense that I knew that once they finally got it to click, that this team would be really, really good.
Is Jaire Alexander, is he hurt? I feel like I remember reading about him getting hurt.
I'm not sure.
I know they lost.
Is he on the PUP?
No. So they're gathering opinions on his shoulder injury. They don't know how long he's going to be out.
Oh, okay.
They're hopeful he can avoid surgery. And now with that, I seriously think the Bengals have a serious chance to win this game. But also, they also lost Zadarius Smith for the entire season, most likely.
That's right. They did most likely lose, and that happened in the game against the Steelers, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Which is another reason that I think we discussed this in a Panthers video, but they're going to sign Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
And I think this is a big reason why they're going to sign Jalen Smith. They're going to lose Darius Smith. You need his replacement. Jalen Smith is a pretty good replacement. I mean, he's quick. He's able to cover. I wouldn't say he's a good pass rusher as Darius Smith, and I don't know if he's as great at stopping the run, but he'll definitely help with pass coverage. He's able to go, east-west very well in the box. But, unfortunately, I still got the Bengals this week. I really do.
I got the Bengals too. I'm not going to lie.
They're looking pretty well. They've been performing pretty well. I just don't believe in this Packers defense. Everybody knows the Packers offense is going to do what they do, but the Packers defense just isn't good at all. It's just not able to compete with these young receivers that they have in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Even as a Ravens fan, it's nice to see the Bengals do good. I don't have an animosity towards the Bengals or the Bengals fans. They've mostly been pretty chill. I haven't really met any bad ones. So shoot, if the Bengals doing good for them. I hope they keep it up. But I hope they are not as good as the Ravens. So that's about it. So let's talk about your sleeper game of the week. What is like the game that people are kind of overlooking, but you think is actually going to be a good game this week?
We got my boys against the Bears. Listen, I believe this is, I don't think this is the first time Khalil Mack's played Derek Carr, or it may be possible that this is the first game against the Bears with Khalil Mack on the other side of the field.
Yep.
But listen, I think this is going to be a way more competitive game. Do I think we're going to give Justin Fields some trouble? Yes. But we got a lot of drop-offs in our secondary. We had a lot of injuries this week. We had two guys in our secondary this week went out. Nate Hobbs, the rookie slot DB, who's been doing really well. I believe he's in a concussion protocol. They're saying he's looking like he's going to be cleared to play this week. Still no guarantee. And Trayvon Mullen, they're worried that he suffered a long-term injury to his foot. I hate to see it because he was definitely our DB. No, he was our second best DB on the team, next to Casey Hayward. But hey, next man up, Gus Bradley. I believe in you. I believe in the scheme that you got going on. Our D line is amazing. I'm loving the stunts. I'm loving the packages you're coming with the defense. But one thing, if I can ask, enough with the linebackers and man coverage against tight ends. We let Jared Cook look like an all-star on Monday, and I hated to see it. I know we shut down Keenan Allen, we shut down Mike Williams, but we let the one guy who shouldn't have had a game at all have probably his best game of the season on us. So as long as we can limit that, we can change our schemes up, get some pressure on Justin Fields, kind of force him to use his legs a little bit, and let Jonathan Abram, just spy and hit him a couple times. He might get a little worried about scrambling after that. But this Chicago team is no slouch. Their defense is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's pretty good. The only thing is that Chicago just lost David Montgomery, I believe, for 6 to 8 weeks with a knee injury. So, that's never good. But for the Raiders, that's great news for us. We don't got to worry about them pounding the ball and David Montgomery dragging 3 or 4 guys while he's trying to get into the end zone. If I had to pick a winner, it's obvious. I'm picking my boys. Khalil Mack, we're going to ruin your homecoming. I'm sorry, but please come back. But, I still got my boys this week.
I see a big mismatch between the Raiders' defensive line talent and the Bears' offensive line talent. And I think Justin Fields is going to be put in a blender this week. I mean, it's going to look like the Browns game all over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genuinely, I think the Raiders might blow them out, like straight up. I think that's a very real possibility. Derek Carr didn't have the greatest game last week, but he's going to bounce back. We know this. He's got a great group of receivers. Ruggs, Renfro, Edwards, very underrated, all of them. Josh Jacobs is on pace to play, I believe.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he's on like a snap limit, a snap count.
I was hoping that's what they did last week, but they seem to, try to push the issue with him running the ball so much last week, but it's all good.
It's like they're trying to get him injured. It's weird. It's weird.
It's very strange.
It's like they're looking for an excuse to play Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
They're just looking for an excuse to play Peyton Barber. So.
And what's crazy? Peyton Barber's probably out this week. He has mild turf toe. He just got announced today with mild turf toe. They said he's probably going to be out this week. And he might be out for more than 1 week. So, Kenyon Drake show. Hopefully we bring up Trey Ragas. And, maybe we'll let Jalen Richard get some snaps. I'm not really a big fan of Jalen Richard right now, but I'm excited to see, if Trey Ragas gets some snaps, because I really liked him and how he performed in the preseason.
That's all I really got to say on them. I think the Raiders are going to win. I don't think it'll be particularly close, but it'll be interesting to see if Justin Fields has learned from the Browns game.
Yes, absolutely.
And also that was so weird how Matt Nagy just announced he was the starter. When 3 days ago he had just said it's Andy Dalton, right? Like, I feel bad for Andy Dalton. I feel like he was done dirty because the entire time Matt Nagy was saying, yeah, you're the starter. And then he just switched around and said Justin Fields. I don't know if that was a Matt Nagy decision or if that was a front office, like, we want Justin Fields to be playing.
Yeah.
So we don't know the particulars of that, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, sucks for Andy Dalton. We see this happen every year where you see a young quarterback behind an older quarterback and they get hurt, and then the young quarterback explodes and they're like, well,
whatever. Yeah, sorry, you lost your job. Unfortunately, this is the franchise guy who's going to be the guy who drafted him early in the draft. I mean, it was a matter of time. Do I think it's a little early than I expected? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I was thinking that, Justin Fields wouldn't get a full start and he wouldn't get that full job until maybe like week 7, week 8.
Yeah.
But, they're getting to him in week 5.
I mean, look, it even happened in Washington inadvertently, and they didn't even Taylor Heineke wasn't even drafted, was he?
No, he was an undrafted free agent who was, I think he's bounced around a couple of practice squad teams and he made his way onto Washington.
Yes, it's interesting. It's a very interesting thing to see, to notice. Going on to my sleeper game.
What you got for us, Bert? What you got for us?
I have the Falcons Jets, and I think this is just going to be entertaining. It's going to be a shootout. Zach Wilson's going to be chucking it 50 times in this game. Matt Ryan's probably also going to be chucking it 50 times in this game. Cordero Patterson is the most out of nowhere, I cannot believe he's going this crazy for this team.
I've never seen a guy who was RB1 and wide receiver 1 at the same time.
And like he's breaking out at 30 years old. Like,
yeah, this is
so
it's so unpredictable. You don't see something like this happening. But
Yeah.
I mean, with somebody like him who's just so quick and shifty and he already has the speed, if you give him a shot, I feel like he could have been making plays like this so long ago.
Yep.
But nobody really gave him the shot. And I think they were kind of trying to force him to play receiver. I think he's more comfortable with just getting the ball out of the backfield and running routes out of the backfield more so than trying to get open to get to DB. You get that mismatch with Cordell Patterson against a linebacker or Cordell Patterson against, not a as fast safety, but he's going to win that matchup nine times out of 10 because he's just so fast. He's just so quick.
Yeah, we saw a lot of routes last week where he was just wide open. I mean, he ran right past the defense and they didn't even know what was going on. So they could do a lot of trick plays with him. They could move him around and all that stuff. But they also
please let this be the Kyle Pitts explosion game. This is the perfect game for it to happen. It is the Jets. Come on.
I don't know, man, because I feel like teams really try to take Kyle Pitts out of the equation. I think
yeah.
But yeah, this could be the week, and I also think this could be a Calvin Ridley explosion game. He hasn't really had a massive game yet this season. He's had a lot of really decent yardage. Has he? I'm not even sure if he's had a touchdown this year. I think he's had one.
I think he scored one against Washington.
He didn't score.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he scored once against Tampa Bay, and that was it. He's only had one touchdown in the season. They need to get him more involved in the red zone.
Absolutely.
I mean, what's funny is he's kind of turning into Julio, where like he's getting the yardage, he's getting the production, he's not getting the touchdowns. Just something weird with the Falcons and Matt Ryan and his wide receiver ones. He just doesn't get him the ball in the red zone. But yeah, and going over to the Jets side, I mean, look, the Falcons secondary sucks. Their line is actually decent, but their secondary is really bad. And they got Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore. They got guys they can throw to.
Even Cole, who had a pretty good game last week too.
Even Cole. And so I would not sleep on them keeping this game close. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Carter actually did a little bit of something. He's their running back. And yeah, I mean, Mike Davis could have a good game too. This is one of those games where I could see almost every major player having a big performance. And this just be a straight up shootout between these two teams.
Tip for me, you got any Jets or Falcons players? I would probably start them this week because both defenses really suck. And both teams that have, their main guys in fantasy, like a Mike Davis, Cordell Patterson, Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, Keelan Cole, even Zach Wilson, Michael Carter. You want to play those guys this week in fantasy because they're going to get touches, they're going to perform, and they're going to produce. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. Two bad defenses, two offenses that could actually be pretty good with the right direction. So make it happen.
I have Calvin Ridley and Jamison Crowder. I'm playing both of them this week. So yeah,
there you go. You got it from Bert.
Yeah, I really hope this game really does end up being a shootout. I think it will be. And so the question is, which team will get defensive stop first? The Jets actually had a pretty decent defensive outing last week against the Titans. I was really surprised. Everyone was really surprised that they even won that game.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a lot of confidence going into this game because they're like, yo, we just beat someone who was trying to contend in the AFC. Like, seriously.
Yeah, easily.
And now they're going against a really weak defense again. So it's tough to pick, but I'm going to go Atlanta here. But just by a hair, like by a field goal.
I'm going to have to go the opposite. I'm going to have to say Jets. I think Jets might get back-to-back wins this week just because they're coming off such a high road with that defense. Quincy and Quentin Williams might be the best brother duo in the NFL.
Yeah.
I have to say that I've never seen a linebacker hit Derrick Henry like Quincy Williams was hitting him last week. Oh my goodness. This guy has came out of nowhere and he's just taken over that defense by storm. I think they had the most sacks they've had in a long time last week too. I think they had 7 sacks last week, which is the most I think they've had in years. So these two together is obviously just a great duo.
they single-handedly carried that entire Jets defense. Like, it was ridiculous watching. They were flying all over the field, like just making tackles, making big plays. It was ridiculous, and it very well could happen. I think the Falcons have a better line than the Titans did, offensive line. Well, I'm not sure if they'll get like a high number of sacks, but at the same time, Matt Ryan's not a very mobile quarterback, just like Ryan Tannehill, right?
Exactly.
So it very well could happen.
I can see it happening, and I got Jets this week. Jets, let's get back to back. Let's go.
All right, the Falcons. Younghoe Koo, carry this team again, please. He's gonna kick the game-winning field goal from 49 yards. That's a prophecy right there, bro. That's it. 49-yard game winner, Younghoe Koo. I'm calling it.
It's bound to happen. I can already see it happening.
All right. Well, that's all the games we got for week 5. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. I've been Bert.
Tae.
We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.
See ya.